So before I get into my normal kind of chat, I gotta highlight something kind of funky, man. So the Planet Fitness in my town, 24/7, Monday through Thursday, and then from Friday onward, they close at 9. So of course it was open, overnight until Friday, and then the weekend it's 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. So it's 10:50 right now. This is a late lift, but if I waited until midnight, I could have lifted at the Planet Fitness because they closed for just 3 hours. They just had a 3-hour gap because they close at 9 on Sunday, but they're 24-hour on Monday. Does that not seem a little... I don't know. I mean, I guess who's lifting this late on a Sunday anyway, so maybe I'm just... maybe that's kind of just a sole complaint on my end, but still, kind of funky, right? But no, plan for tonight with legs, destroy hamstrings, and then play quads by feel. Decide if I want to do a really heavy, kind of nasty one, or hold back, and that's kind of just going to be what I think I can kind of comfortably, and by comfortably I mean like without any pain or impingements, actually take myself to a level of intensity with. But yeah, I've been seeing a lot of it's coming, man. Month 3, March, nearly over. I'm starting to see a lot of TikTok posts, a lot of Instagram reels. You don't even know what's gonna happen this summer. Just wait till they see us this summer. Just wait, summer's right around the corner. Talking about like locking in for summer, right? Or just whatever, that sort of mentality. And I gotta tell you, those posts, as much hype as they might kind of induce, I think they're kind of I don't know, you're kind of barking up the wrong tree, because that's so short term, man. Like, really, you're just excited about getting locked in for summertime. You're getting amped up because, okay, this is a specific time when, right, I should really work up to whatever, like New Year's, spring break, summer. Honestly, now even going into wintertime, people kind of make these sort of comments like, "Oh, I'm gonna lock in winter bulk," that sort of shit. But the guy who's already locked in, he doesn't need to lock in extra because it's New Year's. He doesn't need to lock in extra because spring break's right around the corner, or because summertime's right around the corner. He's already locked in, man. The guy who's killing it doesn't have to say he's killing it, because it's almost as though to say that, and to kind of put out into the universe, like, dude, I'm gonna lock in for real. Like, I'm seriously gonna get after it this whatever time frame. Nothing wrong with putting your goals out there, but I think in a way, it's almost like you're trying to tell yourself that you're gonna do these things, because kind of deep down you might not really believe it. So that's getting into kind of some funky sort of like psychology side of things. But as far as I'm concerned, it's kind of how I go about my stuff. I don't really talk about what I'm gonna do. And I don't say that in terms of like posting. It's like, even when I think about the things that I want to, let's put it kind of motivation, like the things I want to achieve, the whatever level I want to reach. It's almost as though I'm not really thinking that far ahead. Like, I am, of course, but it's more so that I think I'm really kind of spoiled with the fact that the working out is such a long game, slow, steady, daily progressions. I think it's a pretty nice mentality that I've kind of developed for myself, where just doing the process of coming to the gym and liking it and coming back home, like, that's the fun part, right? That's what I like. Anything else is just consequence of doing that, so it's like, instead of trying to make real massive just jumps and gains and short-term leaps, it's just slow and steady, man, right? I mean, we've all seen it. I'm kind of quoting myself here. I said this a couple weeks ago. If your gym has a leaky ceiling, right, maybe just one drip every couple minutes, You put a 5-gallon bucket underneath of it, you know, even though it might seem minuscule, maybe it's just 1 drip an hour. Before you know it, man, that bucket's going to be freaking full. You're going to say, holy crap, this thing fucking reeks. You know, are they ever going to deal with this? That's actually a true story. But, you know, that's what I'm more concerned with. So, you know, kind of the short-term hype effect of any specific time frame or whatever. I mean, I think if you could somehow quantify it, lifting hype has just all around across the world, it has surges. It has ebbs and flows, highs and lows, where, you know, really going hard in the gym has either, you know, kind of an influx of support, or, you know, people kind of back off, right? And for the most part, New Year's, big boost. Right? We've all seen it. We've all made it through this year. Summertime, you know, a little bit more. Usually people get a little more free time. The weather's just nicer. Honestly, people are just kind of in better moods. If you're in a climate where summer really is summer, more sun, better weather, it's nice and warm, you're not cold, well, that's kind of a little bit of a boost there, right? Then usually fall time, especially kind of the younger demographic, you go to school, you go to college, whatever, all right, you know, I'm going to lock in this year. You know, I'm not a high schooler anymore. I'm a grown man, I'm in college. I can start working out. You know, that's kind of a boost there too. But that comes and goes. You know, we've all heard of, we've all seen it. If you go to a gym long enough, you've seen the regulars, which I guess if we want to hype it up a little more, we could say the diehards, right? They've been showing up year after year after year without much incident at all. And then there's, there's the flock, right? They come in, you see some characters every so often, and then you never really see them again, you know? And I feel like characters like that may potentially be relying on that kind of short-term sort of hype, right? So all I'm trying to get at is, if everybody is running off of this sort of short-term, like, dude, just wait until I make this crazy. I mean, that's why like 3-month and like 6-month transformations are so popular, because it's like, whoa, I can completely transform my build in 3 months and 6 months. Holy crap, I better buy this guy's program. You know, like, it's because it's kind of upselling what fitness is, you know, because if you're really locked in, you're not necessarily looking for any massive 3-month change. I mean, you might be looking for some steady progress, but, you know, to do an insane turnaround of your build in just 3 months, it's just not really how it works, you know. So let's be a little bit more on the side of the turtle, right? Slow and steady, and in the end, right, he always wins. So you could take that as a folklore reference, or if you're tasteful enough to remember, you can take that as a Breaking Bad reference. Though I guess it didn't really end so well for that Tortuga. But either way, with legs, I'm almost certain that the gym is going to be dead, so I should have no trouble getting through this lift exactly as I will end up envisioning it. And what I mean by that is, you know, just probably won't have to work around anybody. But let's get in there. Let's start simple. Light squeezing seated leg curls with a hard hold at the bottom. Then really just go from there. A little heavier. All right. Oh man. Oh, okay. Oh. One more just like that. Maybe 2 actually. Okay. Holy shit. Yeah, one more like that. And then, actually, shit. I won't even leave. I'll just stay here, but do a different style. But one more like that first. Oh my god, okay. Holy shit. Let's do a heavy, nasty one and then move on. The full stack is a little too much. So out of the 295 available, 265 will be the sweet spot. So those last 3 sets, light enough that I can hold like a full second squeeze. And I probably could, I mean, you can always go harder, but that third set especially, like those last few reps before I started doing the nasty ones, like I was really trying to hold it in the flex position, but I just couldn't maintain that kind of pause. That's what I'm aiming for with those. But with this set, no pause involved. I'm talking just reasonably quicker reps, not too quick, but quicker. And this is more so just a simple, straightforward hamstring annihilation, right? Like if that last set was a little more technical, right? You're giving them like a 3-piece and then something or other. This is just a haymaker. Not much thought, more, if you get what I'm saying. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Oh my god. Holy shit. One more. Ooh. Whoop. Okay. Oh my god. Oh. Let's do some leg curls. And there is not much room for any more blood in my hamstring, that's for sure. This has the potential to be it for hamstrings, but I'll decide that after the set's over. So, not even the whole stack, only 150 out of the 200, and the feeler rep I did a second ago felt nuts. But my primary goal is to go crazy. To a different TikTok song too. This one's a little scrappy. Oh yeah. Oh my God. Oh. Holy shit. Ooh, that's enough. Ooh. So it's kind of cheating because obviously I've been dieted down all year so far, but this is the most pumped my hamstrings have ever been for this year at least. Well, let's get some leg extensions started. Time for the real lift. Single leg, heavy, failure, no squeezing, none of this fancy pants like a 1 second hold, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that kind of approach, but I've kind of been doing that the last few leg days. Right, I want to change it up. You know, if every chest day you start with bench, maybe start with like a cable press or a machine kind of thing. So I'm always going to start with leg extensions just because they're an awesome warm up for anything that comes next. Pressing, squat, well, I guess pressing and squatting kind of the same thing, but it gets my knees warm. And squatting, any kind of leg pressing at all, having already gotten some pumped quads, feels way better. But, you know, that's just my take on the matter. All right. Oh my God, okay. Oh shit. Oh. Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. Holy shit. Oh, all right. Let's go press something. Holy shit. I think it's probably in my best interest to ease into the really heavy pressing a little slowly, or a little more slowly than I would probably prefer. Because obviously I'd love to just go throw some crazy squats around, but you gotta work up to it. So instead, this leg press will suffice. But it's not that heavy. But you know, it is a heavy stack. It's nothing like 4 big ones on your back. So this will be kind of a little bit of a higher rep sort of set. Bit more torturous than like, you know, exertion based, if you got them, you catch my drift. But let me pick a better song. What are we thinking here? Yes. Okay. Holy shit. Okay. Let's just do as many of these as possible. This is actually perfect for my current circumstance. Heavy, but not too heavy, and still within failure range. Sweet. All right, come on. All right. Yeah. Oh, crap. Yeah, a few more of those. Ooh. Okay. Okay. Oh my God. All right. Probably just one more, and I think that'll be it for quads. Oh yeah, this is a quad pump. There we go. Oh my God, holy crap. Oh. I was really kind of going crazy for that one. Oh my gosh. That's nice. Let's go see how legs are looking. And they feel incredibly freaking swollen. That was a good leg day. Show the last one up to freaking... Oh, show the last one up. Right. So I just ran over here from the last set, so mind the huffing and puffing. But let's see how legs are looking. And one telltale sign that I've had a good leg day, especially quads. Hamstrings is the same thing, but just standing, no intentional flexing at all. Like my quads feel, ooh, I mean, not like rock hard, but somewhere freaking close. So I don't expect to see too many like insane cuts or striations. Plus just from being fully pumped. But they should look reasonably freaking bulbous. And given nobody's in here, I don't mind dropping trowel, right? Use your best judgment when going for the pantsless posing. But, oh yeah, that's what I want to see after a leg day. A real good distinguishing width of like quad and thigh, thinned down at the knee, and then beefed up with the freaking calves. Boy. Oh, yeah, so not so round and posable, because when your quads are, if your legs are seriously pumped, they're just kind of meant to, they're meant to be looked at. I'm not doing like this is as separate as I can get, like my medial quad, teardrop, and outer sweep and everything. Yeah, not much, but still holding on to some veins from the diet. These will slowly dissipate, but yeah, this feels like a really good start. Honestly, I'd call this the first real quad pump of this bulking phase, or I guess this off season to be more accurate. Oh yeah. And that's what I'm aiming for. I want each lift to be progressively crazier than the last. Now, it doesn't have to be like twice as good, but if this is like, 20% better than my last few leg days, and I can maintain at least like, some kind of percentage increase of both like intensity, just overall kind of quality and execution, then that is perfect, right? Because 1% or 5% might not feel like much, but if you can jump that 5% on a consistent basis, dude, sky's the limit. But I'm gonna go do some calves, but for you, let's get in the car. I'm really happy about tonight. Oh yeah. I can say with 100% certainty that was good. That was a good leg day for my current state of, what is this, day 14? Are we 2 weeks deep? Oh yeah, I think so. 2 weeks deep into this bulking phase. My morning weight this morning was 254. So we're creeping. We're creeping ever so slowly. But as has been the pattern of all my bulking periods before, reaching my, peak bulk weight of the last bulking phase is easier and quicker to do each time in succession. So frankly, shit, man. I mean, I'm not aiming for just pure mass, right? I'm aiming for pure muscle mass, right? I'm trying to minimize my kind of, body fat buildup. But let's just say 270 is, it's in my sights. It's in my freaking sights, and there's no crosswind either, right? I'm talking straight shot. But yeah, so the more lifts I can have like that, the better, because I know my quads are going to be wrecked tomorrow. I don't know, some hamstrings soreness is sometimes a little tricky. I can't always predict it, but with how quads feel right now, oh yeah, let's just say I might reduce the difficulty level on the seated bike in the morning when I do my cardio, or maybe just trade it out for some treadmill type action to give them a little bit of relief. But I'm gonna recant a statement. I'm kind of dogging on the solo leveling, but I haven't watched all of it. All I've seen is clips. I've been watching it, of course, but I'm certainly not caught up. So let me hold back judgment until I watch a little bit more. I will add that to the list. Now, keep in mind I'm skeptical, but yeah, I will watch it so I can be a little bit less prejudiced with my judging of it. But speaking of shows, look, man, I've had it. I've been pushed over the edge, right? The first time it happened was with Attack on Titan. Let's be real, Mappa, way too much 3D. Like, totally took me out of this. I already knew what happened. I read it first, and then I watched it. Yeah. So I'm not going to make that mistake again, waiting for something which might end up being a little disappointing. I'm reading Invincible. I'm not waiting 2 years to see season 4. I'm reading it. I want to know what freaking happens. Plus, the comic just looks cooler, So, for anybody who doesn't mind sitting turning pages or swiping pages, yeah, I'm on your board freaking now. So I'm sure all of those fight scenes are going to get me going for all these lifts, which totally valid motivation. Whatever you got to do to get yourself going, I would recommend it. Because I'm really not joking. If you get into a zone, and I'm not saying like the zone where I'm just saying into like a mode, into kind of a mentality where you're just excited, you want to kill it. And actually, you know what? I am talking about the zone. I'm not talking about the zone in terms of skill, like you can suddenly drain threes like you're LeBron or like you're Bronny, right? People are going to start saying that soon enough. But in the gym, when I think of the zone, when I think of a lift that was just totally seamless, a few things come to mind. One, I was well rested, so I didn't feel tired or lethargic. I had enough water in my system, so it's not necessarily like you suddenly feel awesome when you're fully hydrated. Like, if you're really well hydrated, you're not just going to suddenly start doing cartwheels or anything, but it's more so just a lack of detriments. You don't have an exertion headache from doing hard squats. Things just move better, right? Drink your water, right? Even if you may not feel like it. But I'm fully rested, fully hydrated. I've got a good amount of food in my system, and I'm excited to the point where set to set, the idea that might pop into somebody's mind of like, all right, how much of this workout do I have left? Okay, how long do I have to sit here for? It doesn't even cross your freaking mind. I don't think I actually looked at the clock once that whole lift. And a leg day is the lift that you're probably going to look at the clock the most, because legs is long and it's freaking hard. So you're just excited about a step-by-step basis. And in between, I don't mind getting on my phone, but not for just like junk scrolling. I'm not talking like scrolling Instagram or like, comment threads or anything. I'm talking hype TikTok edits and music almost exclusively, right? Maybe a music video if you know one that you really like, but keeping it to that so you don't get distracted. And then sorry about that. And then your in between sets rest period kind of thought process is simply just sitting there, being in the moment, catching your breath, getting your wind back, listening to whatever song you're listening to, and turning up the volume, putting your phone down, and getting after it. For me, those are what all my best lifts have been, and those are the ones that kind of go by the quickest. Like, honestly, this whole leg day felt like it was over like that. It's done, it's over, can't go back. But It's the ones where you're dragging your feet and you're not really into it. Right? Those are the ones that feel like work. And the last thing that I would recommend, and the last thing that I would want to be in the state of, would be having working out feel like work. If you got 4 hours of sleep last night and then you have a leg day scheduled for the next day and you feel like trash, I don't care how much caffeine you get in your system, you're still going to be kind of off. That leg day is going to feel like work, right? You didn't drink enough water, you didn't eat enough, you're kind of hungry, you're just you're maybe running on fumes, you say you're bulking, but really, maybe not exactly. That leg days, that workout, it's going to feel like work, and that sucks, right? You don't want it to feel like work. You want it to feel like something you're excited to do. It's an activity. It's not a chore. So if you treat it like that, and if you treat it like something you're excited to do on the regular, then odds are everything that goes along with making sure that you can kill it, right, you're going to do. If somebody wanted to drag you out, or like your dad wants to drag you out to do like a day of, I'm sure it's kind of a canon event, at least for anybody in the States, I guess, where your dad brings you out. You schedule a full day of landscaping. We've got kind of an infamous story, the mulching. we had a full day of mulching once, which we refer back to on occasion. It was it was just a total mess. But something like that, yeah, not that excited to do it. Not even, right? I'm like, oh, this freaking sucks. Oh my gosh. But something you actually are excited to do, you'll go to great lengths to ensure that you get to enjoy it. It's so that's kind of my shtick there, right? Only kind of imagine yourself killing it, right? Get kind of, I don't want to say addicted, but get a taste for what that feels like, and then odds are in your mind you're gonna say, man, I like this. I want all my workouts to be like this. I don't want to sit in here and just I want to be excited about it. So that's kind of my take. Not really not the hottest take. It's kind of some basic tips there, but get amped, right? It's your world, and we're living in it. Right? Get your music going and go freaking crazy. That was a good leg day. I think I pushed it hard enough with that leg press machine, where it was pretty heavy, but it wasn't too heavy. I got to ease back into it. And frankly, it's not even all about the weight either. Like, obviously, a heavy set really kind of putting some mechanical tension on your muscles during a working set, that's definitely a component of some good work. But, I don't need to freaking work up to like, ooh, little rabbit over there. I don't need to work up to like a crazy, this is freaking National Geographic. I just saw a skunk too. I don't need to work up to like a 600-pound squat. It's probably not going to do me that good. And frankly, that would take a while to build up to anyway. So I'm not knocking on wood. I would never turn down a 600-pound squat for 10 if I was capable. But I'm more so concerned with that muscular stimulation. Right? Come back bigger and stronger next time and do it again. So that's one little word of warning, word of caution before I leave you for tomorrow's arm day. That's what's scheduled for them. Is if you ever feel something's a little off, maybe just a little tweaked, don't be afraid to step on the brakes. Just a little, if not a lot, right? Because I'm not joking. You want to be able to come back to the gym stronger next time. If you wreck something and you have to come back to the gym weaker than last time, right? More injured than last time. Yeah, let's just say somebody's putting on the dunce cap, and that goes for me too. I mean, if in whatever these videos I ever like tweak something, and it's because I went too heavy, or because I didn't listen to some kind of like signal, and I did something without like really thinking about just whatever. Like, I want you guys to dog on me hard. Like don't cut me any slack. Like if I like tweak my shoulder or my back or my something or other, Yeah, that is on me, right? And frankly, that's a good little motivator for me not to hurt myself, knowing you guys are gonna freaking come after me. But either way, awesome leg day. There may or may not be leftover canes in the fridge. Who knows? Who's to say? But that may or may not be the post-workout meal. Yeah, it's purely hypothetical. So either way, I'll see you for arms tomorrow. Oh wait, chest tomorrow. What the hell am I talking about?